Okay, here we go. This is part 2 of the Zebra and Double Black PAF set. I needed to explain something here because people were listening to the sound samples and making judgments that anything that was brighter sounding was the vintage PAFs, which is not true, because I made the mistake of comparing them to the Black Beauty set, which was a replica of a double white set I made several years ago. So in general, PAFs are going to be noticeably brighter than modern magnet wire. It's, I could go into it and tell you why, but basically nobody cares except me. So everybody was making judgments that the brighter sounding sound samples were all the PAFs just because it was brighter and more open sounding. Well, that's just not true. The 8.3K Black Beauty bridge has a lot more wire on it, so it's not going to have the same brightness as a 7.6K PAF. Now, the confusing part of that is that PAFs generally are brighter and more open sounding because of the vintage magnet wire. And the Black Beauty set was wound with modern wire. So I wanted to dispel this idea that modern wire can't sound like vintage magnet wire, which mostly it can't, but then it can. So that was a bad comparison between those two, because the Black Beauties were much more wire. So I remembered, I have these 57 PAF replicas of mine that are wound less and have less resistance, and the bridge measures 7.8K. Not that really ohms means anything, because this is fatter wire, which is lower resistance wire. But so in this part 2, I'm comparing the original PAFs, 1959s, to my 57 HD set, which is a lot closer. So again, in the JTM 45, the 57s still sound darker than the 59 PAFs. But there's a reason for this. This is their impedance is being read by a JTM 45, which is a darker sounding amplifier. So then I switch the 57s and recorded them, and also the 1959s, in my Garnet MANN, M-A-N-N, amplifier, which has a solid state rectifier. So this changes everything. The 57 PAFs now sound bright and much more open than they do in the JTM 45. So I wanted to make this clear that I goofed. I shouldn't have done that comparison in the part 1. So here I'm going to play the 57s and the 1959s in the MANN Garnet, and also in the JTM 45, so you can hear the difference. So amps matter. Okay, here we go with the sound samples. This is the JTM 45 with the 1959 PAFs. So this is just as the baseline sound to judge the other samples with. So here we go. This is 3 switch positions. Okay, this next sound sample is the HD 57s. You'll notice right away that there's more clarity and openness, and this is also in the JTM 45. So take a listen to this one. Okay, so we're switching the 57s into the Garnet MANN, the Garnet Man stencil amp. So this amp has a solid state rectifier, so it's a lot more high-end headroom there. So let's take a listen to that now. Okay, this last sound sample is done in the MANN, the MANN Garnet stencil. By the way, I'm using the same speaker for both amplifiers. They're both heads, and I'm just using the different heads in there, so it's not different. It's not different combo amplifiers. So I'm doing in the MANN. The first riff will be the vintage 1959 PAFs, the short Billy Gibbons riff, and the second one will be the 1957 set. Same riff, in the MANN, also same speaker. Okay, this is the end of part 2. I just wanted to point out that the first comparisons I did in part 1 weren't too well thought out, and I think it confused a lot of people. So the HD 57 set is a lot closer to these old PAFs, and I'm not saying they're identical, and they weren't made to be clones of this exact 1959 PAF set. It's just I wanted to show that it is possible to get very close to the old PAFs. At least for me it is, and took years and years of work to get there. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, just post them below. And please do read the text under the video. There are other things there I can't put in video. So anyway, over and out. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.